desert air hums differently when something big is about to happen, and this year the whispers circling Coachella feel louder, sharper, and far more personal than usual as leaked snippets from Justin Bieber's rehearsals begin to paint a picture that no one saw coming. A setlist that doesn't just revisit hits but seems to tell a story, one layered with nostalgia, tension, and what many believe are unresolved emotions tied to a past that refuses to stay buried. Because as footage and insider accounts trickle out, fans are starting to connect us that point directly to Selena Gomez. And suddenly what was supposed to be a triumphant return to the stage is turning into a spectacle of speculation, with every note, every pause, and every transition being dissected like clues in a mystery no one can stop watching unfold. Sources close to the production claim that Bieber has been unusually meticulous during rehearsals, stopping songs midway, rearranging transitions, and insisting on emotional delivery over technical perfection, which in itself isn't shocking for an artist known for pouring his heart into performances. But what's raising eyebrows is the specific selection of songs being rehearsed, including tracks he hasn't performed live in years, songs that fans immediately associate with a very specific chapter of his life, a chapter that includes late-night confessions, public breakups, reconciliations, and the kind of intense young love that played out under the unforgiving glare of global fame. And as clips circulate online, eagle-eyed viewers have pointed out subtle changes in lyrics, slowed tempos, and stripped-down arrangements that shift the meaning of familiar songs into something more reflective, almost haunting. As if Bieber isn't just performing but revisiting, reliving, and perhaps even reprocessing moments that defined him. And while some insiders insist this is simply an artistic evolution, others aren't convinced, especially given the timing, because Selena Gomez has also been making waves recently, stepping into the spotlight with renewed confidence, new projects, and a narrative of growth and healing that contrasts sharply with the emotional tone reportedly dominating Bieber's rehearsals. And it's this contrast that's fueling the theory that Coachella could become an unspoken dialogue between two people who have long since gone their separate ways, but remain forever linked in the public imagination. Adding another layer of intrigue is the staging itself, described as minimal yet symbolic, with a heavy emphasis on lighting that shifts between warm golden hues and colder, almost stark white tones, creating a visual push and pull that mirrors the emotional arc fans believe is embedded in the setlist. And then there are the reported interludes, instrumental segments that bridge songs together in ways that suggest a deliberate narrative flow, rather than a random collection of hits. One insider described it as less of a concert and more of a journey, a carefully crafted experience designed to take the audience through different phases of love, loss, and self-discovery. And if that's true, it raises the question of whether Bieber is intentionally inviting fans to revisit his past with him, or if this is simply his way of closing a chapter that has lingered longer than expected. Social media, of course, has exploded with theories, with some fans convinced that certain songs are direct references to specific moments involving Gomez, while others argue that the interpretation says more about the audience than the artist. But even skeptics admit there's something undeniably charged about the choices being reported. Something that goes beyond nostalgia and taps into a deeper emotional current. And as anticipation builds, the pressure on Bieber is intensifying, because this isn't just about delivering a strong performance, it's about managing expectations that have been shaped by years of public fascination with his personal life, expectations that can easily overshadow the music itself. Yet those who have witnessed the rehearsals firsthand insist that Bieber seems focused, grounded, and more in control than he has been in a long time, suggesting that whatever the intent behind the setlist, it's coming from a place of clarity rather than chaos. Still, the question lingers: why now? Why revisit these songs, these memories, at a moment when both he and Gomez have seemingly moved on? Some believe it's simply the nature of artistry, that true growth often requires looking back before moving forward, while others suspect there's a more calculated element at play, a recognition that the narrative surrounding his past remains one of the most compelling aspects of his public persona, and that leaning into it, even subtly, could reignite a level of engagement that few artists can achieve. Regardless of the motivation, one thing is certain: Coachella is no longer just another festival appearance. It has become a stage for something far more complex, a convergence of music, memory, and myth that blurs the line between performance and personal history. And as the date approaches, the speculation shows no sign of slowing down, with every new detail adding fuel to an already blazing fire of curiosity. Will Bieber address the rumors directly through his performance, or will he let the music speak for itself? leaving fans to interpret the story in their own way. And perhaps that's the real genius of it all, the ambiguity, the space for interpretation that turns a concert into a conversation, one that extends far beyond the desert and into the hearts and minds of millions watching from around the world. Because in the end, whether the setlist is truly influenced by Selena Gomez or simply shaped by the natural evolution of an artist revisiting his past, the impact is undeniable. It has people talking, guessing, feeling, and most importantly paying attention. And in an era where attention is the most valuable currency of all, that might be the most powerful performance of all, even before the first note is played.
Welcome to my Secret Friends page. I think I'm going to apply some of my Rare Beauty eyeshadow. It's actually really sweet. It's the Essentials Neutral set, and it is something that I worked really hard on because I love these colors, specifically the colors I use every day or on carpets or... I don't know what to say to that! Come on.
Out of my space. You know what? Hold that thought until I get Grace on the phone. Pull out a few slices, and you're gonna have a whole wedge. Benny Hanna home collection thing.
That is gorgeous.
No, this is gonna work.
Fine. I know.
I feel bad about this, but I think.
Too much pressure on this. Probably.
Look, I had problems with Michael, and clearly I'm repeating that pattern.